Alright, so this is the Henry Art Gallery team doing the formative evaluation of the lobby experience and resource materials, and my name is Andrew Bowen.
And this is Tullian John.
And also we have Emily Shin as part of our team. So the purpose of the evaluation was to understand the effectiveness of the Henry's existing lobby resources in 1, orienting the visitors to the museum, 2, providing visit information about admissions and exhibitions, and 3, providing additional information about current and future program offerings. The outcome of this evaluation was to inform design content and structure of future resources for the Henry Art Gallery. So we had 4 evaluation questions, and they were to what extent are visitors aware of resources in the lobby, what resources are visitors engaging with and why, and to what extent are the resources able to answer the visitors' questions specific to visit orientation, admission, and exhibitions. And the last one, how effective are the lobby resources at communicating additional information about programming that the Henry offers. So an overview of our sample for this study, a majority of our respondents, 38 to be exact, were the lobby exit interview, were visiting the Henry Art Gallery and or the Molly's Cafe. Frequency of the visit for the Henry, we had 17 first-time visitors, we had 13 visits once every few weeks, and we had 2 that were visitors 1 to 2 times per week. The frequency of visits of our Molly's patrons, which the sample of that was 10, we had 2 of them that were once every few weeks, 2 that were 1 to 2 times per week, and 1 that was 3 to 4 times per week, and 1 first-time visitor. So we used 3 different methods. We used an exit interview, a timing and tracking map, and also a diary study from the gallery services representatives. So going into our findings, for evaluation question number 1, to what extent are visitors aware of resources in the lobby? The lobby exit interview, we had 4 examples of what people, or 4 questions that we used to answer this question. Why are you visiting the Henry today? How many times do you come to the Henry or Molly's per week? What resources, if any, do you see in the lobby? And did you use any of the materials to inform your visit today? If so, what? And looking at what resources did you see in the lobby, the most predominant was the GSR, being 18. Second was nothing, so visitors claimed that they didn't use anything in any of the resources in the lobby. And the third was the map. So 64% said that they didn't use any resources. Of those who did use resources, the map was the most frequent, and as well as the newsletter, the GSR, and pamphlets, and the numbers are represented here. To answer evaluation question number 2, what resources are visitors engaging with and why? We used the timing and tracking map, visitor flow through the lobby. We looked at the total time that people were spending in the lobby, the number of stops in the lobby, the actions in the lobby, which were questions that were asked, people looking at materials, stopping, which was determined as a 3-second pause, pointing and gesturing, talking with other visitors, as well as picking up flyers. The lobby exit interview, we also used the question, did you use any of the materials to inform your visit today? If so, what? And we attempted to use the GSR question log. So looking at the timing and tracking map, we found that there was a total of 6 zones that people predominantly interacted with. And looking at the top left graph, we found that Zone 3 and Zone 4 people stopped in most frequently, and followed by Zone 1, and then Zone 5 and Zone 2. And so people were stopping in front of Zone 3 and Zone 4 and asking the GSR's questions, most likely in those 2 areas. And then the third most was to look at the flyers in Zone 6, which is where the posters were at. And so there weren't a lot of people that were picking up flyers, and there were not a lot of people interacting with other visitors, as well as pointing and gesturing at any of the materials in the lobby space. The average time in the lobby was 1 minute and 38 seconds, and the average number of stops in the lobby was 1.53. And we had found that those individuals who had asked the GSR's questions had an increased time spent in the lobby, as well as an increased number of stops in the lobby.
Thank you, Drew. So the next evaluation question number 3, sought to understand the extent to which resources were able to answer visitors' questions about specific aspects of their Henry visit. When looking at the materials used to inform their visit, a majority of respondents said that they did not use any materials to inform their day of visit. However, 3 of the repeat visitors to the Henry did state that they were using them, and they used materials also during their previous visit to inform this one. They were accumulating information over the span of their visits. Of the first-time visitors, only 7 did report using materials to inform their visit. They tended to focus on more portable resources such as the map or the pamphlet, something that they could carry without them throughout their experience. The Henry was also interested in learning about admission pricing and how that was communicated in the lobby. A majority of respondents to the lobby exit survey, regardless of whether they were visiting the Henry or Molly's Cafe, were unaware of admission pricing. However, when they were visiting the Henry, they were most often informed through use of a gallery service representative. If they were visiting Molly's Cafe, it was often via signage or word of mouth. The Henry also wanted to use this question to understand about exhibitions and how that information was communicated. Similar to admission pricing, most visitors did not know what current exhibitions were going on at the Henry. However, when they were informed, it was largely through off-site materials rather than on-site materials, specifically through websites or social media or through friends. Evaluation question number 4 sought to understand how effective the resources were at communicating information about Henry for day of and ongoing needs. We used the option on the lobby exit survey to encourage respondents to share outstanding questions they had. Among the sample of 50, only 10 individuals had questions remaining after leaving the lobby. 8 were visitors to the Henry, and they had generic questions about using the museum map, what exhibitions were on view, admission pricing, and also the appropriateness of contemporary art for their groups. Molly's Cafe patrons had more targeted questions about membership opportunities and the type of art that the Henry showcased. The limitations to this study are few, but they are there. For example, we did have to deal with visitors who were both visiting the Henry Art Gallery as well as their coffee shop, Molly's Cafe. We realized that these visitors may have different interests and needs from the lobby experience, and we needed to be respectful of that. Further, we only looked at the awareness of lobby resources and how people were interacting with them, not necessarily the content and the design of the materials that they were interacting with. Therefore, comprehension of materials could be a further area for study. And then finally, we tried to utilize a third method of the gallery service representative question log. Unfortunately, this instrument was not utilized and able to provide meaningful data. When theorizing practical and theoretical application of these findings, we are recommending to the Henry that they make print materials more visible and easily accessible to patrons. We also suggest that they refine the current map to better identify where visitors are in terms of gallery orientation and access to the Henry, because it is a difficult space. We also encourage them to make admission prices very clear and visible in their lobby space, and to use this as an opportunity to grow their exhibition information. So to conclude, this evaluation is a formative one for the visitor experience in the lobby. It provides lots of opportunity for future research, as well as refining current interactions with visitors and gallery service representatives, as well as refining how admission pricing and related messaging is shared. Thank you so much to Nick Fisher, Catherine Owen, and Rachel Faust, as well as the Henry Art Gallery for helping us facilitate this evaluation.